Okay, well, welcome to my little video on why should I choose the Stimpod. It's Jason Whittaker here. I haven't made a video in a while, and this is my fourth take on this video, and I never usually take more than one take to create a video, but for this one we had all kinds of technical difficulties and technological problems. So I'm gonna try again, so bear with me here. What I want to do is a very, very brief video on why you should choose the Stimpod, both from a technological, scientific point of view, and I'm going to present a business and economic case for you as well. So, first thing we want to realize is that the Stimpod, or the NMS 460, is a pulsed radio frequency device, which is this one over here. Circle this, yeah. It's a pulsed radio frequency device as opposed to a continuous radio frequency device. Now, why is that important? Well, when you do a pulsed radio frequency, you are basically having the device turn on for 20 milliseconds, as an example, and turn off for 480. And what that does is it keeps the tissue temperature below the 42 degrees Celsius. And what that does is it minimizes damages that can cause motor deficits or sensory deafferentation. With the continuous radio frequency devices, you can actually heat the tissue to a much higher degree of temperature, anywhere between 60 and 80, and that's where they can run into problems where you can actually cause motor deficits or sensory deafferentation because it's heating the tissues up too high. So that's why you would choose pulse versus continuous. Both technologies do expose physiological tissues to electromagnetic field within that high radio frequency domain, but the difference is the Stimpod will induce a magnetic field through a radio frequency that changes how a nerve cell actually conducts the signal. Now, this is really important, this next point. Prior to the development of this particular PRF device, no other electrical devices could create tangible and actual microstructural changes in cases of neuropraxia and or neuropathy. The Stimpod and the NMS, or the Stimpod or the NMS 460 can do that, which means it actually does what it proposes it does, what it says it does. And that's why we sell this particular Stimpod or this particular technology, because it works. It just plain and simple works. Now, the other neat little thing that they found when researching PRF devices is that you can actually get a boost in gene expression markers as well, specifically CFOS and ATF3, which is an activating transcription factor. Both of those gene markers lead to neurite growth, and they boost neuroimmune activity. So that's an added bonus as far as I'm concerned, and it's probably one of the reasons why we use the Stimpod device for vagal nerve stimulation. I highly recommend it for vagal nerve stimulation. It works like magic. Now, the paper I'm deriving a lot of this information from that I want to just show you. If you want to pause, take this down. This paper is available for free. If you can't find it, I will just send me a message and I'll make sure you get a copy of it. It's from Pain Physician 2018. Its title is Efficacy of Pulse Radio Frequency Stimulation in Patients with Peripheral Neuropathic Pain, a narrative review. So it's a very good paper, and it's excellent at explaining the technology of pulse radio frequency. One of the major reasons why I like it, so here's a photo of the device itself, is its portability. It's small, so it takes up a lot less space. For the power you get and the versatility that you get using a Stimpod, it's incredible for its size. And the other thing I love about it is the stylus. With this stylus, and I'll talk a little bit about it in detail in a second, but this stylus allows you to be very, very specific. And it's why I recommend this device for vagal nerve stimulation over any other device. So what would be a good business or economic case for the NMS 460 or the Stimpod, I call? As a standalone device, it's much smaller, it's less expensive than your big pulse magnetic therapy devices or big machines. Cedric has both, and he'll tell you that the big pulse magnetic therapy machines are very expensive, about 5 times more than what a Stimpod would be. Plus, they're larger. And they take up more space. So if you had a big clinic, that's great. But if you have a small size clinic, you're going to want to look at Stimpod for your therapeutic, one of your therapeutic toys. At its price point, the NMS 460 is the only device that offers benefits of nerve mapping. Now, this is one of the reasons why I love the stylus that you saw on the previous style, because you can target the specific nerve needed to be targeted. Instead of being, shotgun approach, you're actually being a sniper with the kind of nerve that needs to be repaired. Provides pain relief and neural healing, obviously, nerve regeneration, positive neuroimmune response in a non-invasive manner. Also, a little added bonus is that we will provide the online course for full operational and therapeutic procedures or protocols for all the conditions that you might see or use for the Stimpod. We will provide all that for free as part of your purchase as well. So that's a nice little bonus. I've always said one of my biggest mottos in life is that you buy, especially when it comes to business and running a business, your clinic as a business, buying what's best for your bottom line lets you buy something that you can call mine. Meaning, I, as a guy, love toys. I had all the toys, and I made the mistake a lot of times in practice where I would purchase a toy for the sake of me enjoying that toy, not for the sake of it creating a positive black number in my bottom line, let's say. So if you are a new practitioner or a young grad, you're gonna wanna keep this model in mind. When you set up your clinic, make sure that you purchase toys, either assessment or therapeutic, with the goal in mind that you are gonna let it impact your bottom line dollar more immediately and more effectively. Because the sooner you get out of debt, the sooner you have cash and assets in your at your disposal to purchase the things that you want, that you can call mine. So keep that in mind. That's just a little motto of mine. So let's take a look at a sample lease scenario here, where if you're finding the price of the cost or the cost of a Stimpod that we offer on our website, $4,900 US, that is the cost. So for some of you, that might be quite high. But if you were to lease it with a residual value of, say, $500 at the end of that lease, your monthly payment would be around $110 a month, roughly. These are rough numbers, conservative numbers. Now, based on a recommended fee of $50 per Stimpod treatment, that is my recommendation. I come from a cheaper area of Winnipeg, and in Canada, we tend to look for things that are much cheaper than down in the US. But if you want to charge more for Stimpod treatment, go right ahead. It's your clinic. You do what you want. But if you were to do a recommended fee of $50 per Stimpod treatment as a standalone, you would need only 3 treatments per month, and your Stimpod would be paid off in less than 3 years. Now, if you're a chiropractor or in the musculoskeletal world, either as a physiotherapist or an athletic trainer, or even a doctor or an orthopod, you can treat peripheral neuropathies, cervical radicular pains, lumbar radicular pains, Bell's palsy, facial paralysis. You can treat all of these conditions using a Stimpod. And then, of course, I mentioned the vagal nerve stimulation, which is huge if you are in neuro rehab or if you're in clinical neuroscience of any kind. Extremely, extremely powerful stuff. So you would have this thing paid off in less than 3 years. If you think it's a good, wise investment, then by all means, click onto our website, click on the shop portion, and look for the Stimpod and go for it. Make that purchase, because I think it's one of the wisest investments you can make for your practice. Thanks for listening to this quick video. Talk to you soon.